Guys, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for having me, folks. It means a lot. Your favorite YouTuber's back. But do you guys remember me making a video? In fact, I've said this last season. I've made a video recently about Ozil in regards to he might have to consider a positional change. The best way I can make it make sense to you guys is if you look at David Silva. Now, in his early days at City, he was playing 10, give or take. Oh, cool, true, say he was on the flanks at times, but give or take, 9 times out of 10, the 10 role, goals and assists, all action, creative midfielder. Obviously, as he's got on a bit and other people have come into the side and just downright managerial changes and adaptability and just him being an intelligent footballer, his game has changed. You still see him contributing in attacking phases. Hell, you still see David Silva scoring goals. I don't want to say he's underrated, but I think he's one of the best to play in the Premier League and definitely one of City's best players and definitely in my time one of the best Premier League players to have ever played. I mean, I know Cantona's messed, but I'm born in 95. Like, I've seen Cantona, but I weren't watching him when he was at Leeds and these sort of man there to be gassing it. So David Silva is one that I believe is one of the best that I've witnessed in my own eyes and been able to comprehend football. And you see him playing deeper for City. He still gets goals, but his game's changed. He's still up there. He's still contributing in attacking phases, but it's more timed. He knows when he can't do it. He knows when he can do it. He knows when he has to drop off a couple of yards. While this is relevant to Ozil is because it looks like in today's market, 10s are dying in general. There's not really pure 10s in that you saw Ozil. You could name about 5 around them times. 5 pure 10s, the 10 sort of role. It's like teams don't really care for that. They still need creative players. Kevin De Bruyne and these players, even Hazard to a degree, that could play 10 or you'd class as a 10. They're not playing there. Hazard's on the flanks, we know, is a winger, people. Kevin's played on the flanks, he's played further forward, but he's more, I don't want to say deep line because he's a bit all action, but you get the point, innit? Isco's playing everywhere for Real Madrid, Asensio the same. Probably the only sort of midfielder player that you could kind of say is kind of playing to a 10 of sorts is probably Eriksen, depending on how you define that, because even I'm disagreeing with that. You see him out wide at times, you see him deeper at times. Yeah, but you get the point in it. 10s looks like it's dying. But specific to Ozil, he's 29 years of age. We know he's a classic 10, and we know the heat. We know some of his fans will bring up all the heat maps and passes, and I do think he gets a lot of stick. Some of it is warranted if he's played poor, like in the 2 games we played in the Premier League. He's played poor. He's not done anything that Mesut Ozil, with Mesut Ozil. We still see him making an angle. We still see him work. For me, he's worked hard in both them games, things that people don't say. It's just the technical level and what's actually needed of the man hasn't been there for the club. He still ran, he still made an effort, he still tried to make an option for a man in play, he still dropped deep. Ultimately, just the quality is lacking in it. His game is changing. Now, he's not, for me, David Silva definitely is a better Premier League player than him because he's done more dirt. Ozil probably isn't going to have that mad season where he got 18 or whatever assists before he couldn't get over it. His game is changing. He's 29 years of age. He turns 30 this year. He's more or less in the twilight period of his career. It's time to play deeper in midfield for me, to be honest with you. Again, you can still play the 10 and stuff like that, but I do believe positions are overrated. I say this because our midfield just looked booky in a pivot. I do think Unai Emery is going to make a pivot be able to work at this club at some point. It's going to be Guendouzi and Torreira. Obviously, the experiment with the pivot didn't work on Saturday against Chelsea, but I do think the pivot would work. But we can all see, everybody and their nan can see Arsenal's midfielders look better in the 3. We looked better in the 3 when Ox was here playing centre mid before he left. We just look better in the 3. Whether that's the players genuinely feel more comfortable in the 3, whether that's because nobody can really defend, just an extra body in midfield helps us, I don't know, innit. But normally, even in pre-season, you saw that there was a lack of building. In our last 2 games with the midfielders, there's a lack of building. Guendouzi does it, Xhaka can do it, but they're not consistently trying to build and play-making things. And there is a gap. And because of that, you see Aubameyang getting frustrated, dropping deep. Wingers like Mkhitaryan yesterday becoming extremely narrow to get onto the ball. Iwobi at times as well, they're getting frustrated. So if Ozil's playing... Sorry guys, I was just thinking to get the tactics board. If Ozil's playing slightly deeper in midfield, changing his game, obviously he still would need to score and assist to a degree, but he would be there to provide an option. And what I mean by that is a thing like this, really, guys. Apologies. Now, typically, in fact, this is probably Ozil's position, isn't it? Like, we all know it's the 10 role, innit? And then you got the midfielders behind him. But me, I either want it a thing where you've got Torreira, Guendouzi and Ozil, or you got them closer together, or whatever combination you want to say, people. Just closer together, like Ozil there, because like I said, Ozil's quality hasn't been there in the last 2 games. The things that you attribute with Ozil, the final pass, the creating, all of these things genuinely haven't been there from Ozil, in it. But the application's been there. So at least if he's deeper, because it does look like we have a problem building from here, he's able to receive it off the centre halves, distribute it. He's still able to contribute going forward. But do you see what I'm saying? And this might possibly free up a space in up front. Which, because of the lack of personnel, you're thinking it's gonna obviously be Mkhitaryan. Like, it's obviously gonna be Mkhitaryan. But yeah, it'll be Mkhitaryan. And there's another episode. I mean, I've made a vid about this when we're trying to get too many creative midfielders into the game. But you get the point, people, innit? You could have Mkhitaryan there, Lacazette and Aubameyang, or you could do a thing like that, where there's more men in midfield, and obviously the fullbacks will have to do their job. Or what I believe we might have to consider, regardless of my opinion or your opinion on Wales, just for the high press, Welbs, Lacazette, and what's my man's name again? Pierre Aubameyang, just pressing high. Then Ozil can kind of do that. Then the midfielders split. Then again, it will become down to the. Maybe it's because I'm a right back, people, that I need to show you guys that. Apologies, 1 sec. The fullbacks. These are midfielders. The fullbacks. Fullbacks are so key to our game. The minute the fullbacks start becoming efficient up and down the pitch for our team, will improve. But I do think maybe he needs to change his game. Obviously with the game, obviously with the game change, there'll be less emphasis on him getting goals and assists. He's still getting to the final third. I do think the application is still there from Ozil. Like, for me, it's weird because at times the quality was there, but Ozil didn't run enough and things, people would say, and that might be true. But for me, the application is there. It's just the quality isn't there now, which you've seen with Ozil. And we seem to be one of the only teams still trying to keep with the old school of playing a 10 of sorts. I'm not saying other teams don't play 10s, and there's clearly other creative sparks in the team, but maybe we have to change up our approach a bit slightly, because even if we look at that game, the reason I said Welbs, and I like Mkhitaryan, but you see what I'm saying, like, at times he's been underwhelming, and if you was to say 5 games Mkhitaryan's been on fire for Arsenal, you're reaching. It's Milan, and it's probably Milan, Everton. Yeah, it's probably Milan, AC Milan, Everton, and there's definitely one more that's escaped my head. But in regards to the press, now, why I'm saying, just to reiterate this point, why I'm saying Welbs might have to play is because you saw it against Chelsea. Again, it worked. It works. What Une tried to do, he said Ozil. Just to make a quick example, he said, Ozil, you get on Jorginho, you get on him, and that in theory should stop it. But Ozil's that's not his natural thing. He's not always going to be onto him. So there's going to be times he'll pick up the ball and times he needs to do his thing. So then there's spaces. And then you saw it. It eventually went to Dave, ball came down that flank, and Morata scored. At least if Ozil is there or whatnot, yeah, you can play Mkhitaryan. But the reason I'm saying Welbs or someone is to help with the high press. These creative players can do the high press, but at times they slip into old habits. Like, Ozil was guilty of going up here. Mkhitaryan's going narrow in there. That was creating so much space. Like, it's not Mkhitaryan's fault. Where's another thing? Apologies, people. He's frustrated because he can't get the ball and he wants to get onto the ball, but that wasn't helping Bellerin, for example, because he's getting doubled up against. So regardless of Wells' opinion, and I'll probably call for Wells to get dropped same way, maybe 3 people pressing, just pressing, or even Nketiah, like I've said before in the vid, pressing, or even Nelson, just pressing. And Mkhitaryan and Ozil can press for what it's worth, but how good can you be at pressing if that's not what you're on? Again, to a degree, I don't even believe what I just said. I believe it, but I don't, because then if I just remembered City's boys, and would you necessarily have Kevin and Silva and Sterling, and they can do it like ours, but you wouldn't necessarily have them down as pressing players, but they're able to do it. Of course, Uno and Guardiola are in 2 different leagues managerial-wise, and it's not a dig at Uno Emery, but you get the point in it. So maybe it's worth considering, and I use David Silva as an example because I don't see why Ozil can't. Mata's, to a degree, Mata's done it. I know Mata's been used on the flanks and he's used everywhere, but he can do it. Silva can do it. I think he can do it. Santi done it, so why couldn't he? I mean, Santi actually came out and said he done it before in Spain, so it's nothing new at Arsenal. But yeah, man, let me get at you guys here before I just keep rambling and wasting any more of your time. But guys, Deluded, get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest if you wish. All my social media things are in the description. DeludedGuna04, DGuna04 on Snapchat. Get in the comments with more questions for the Q&A on Friday. Get in the thing with more random topics for the random show. Yeah, man, we go again. The Totally Deluded show will drop in a few weeks again. When I have to sit down and think about my deluded opinions. But yeah, man, guys, thank you for watching. Your favorite YouTuber's out.